meeting of the Glades County School Board to order. And would you please stand for the invocation and the pledge? I'll be giving the invocation and the pledge will be led by Ms. Quinlan. Father God, I thank you for being here with us because you promised that you are with us if we just believe. And I thank you for the opportunity that we as a board have to serve the students of Glades County. I pray that you'll be with us as we meet today. Guide us and lead us in the direction that you would have us to go. Help us to remember that your advice is to listen and speak and believe, but listen carefully, listen a lot and speak a little. And we just need to be led by you to say what needs to be said and to not become angry when things don't go our way. Lord, we just ask you to lead us and guide us. We want what's best for the children. We want what's best for the staff. We want what's best for the community. And we ask in your name that you provide us with the wisdom to provide that. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. And I don't believe we have anyone here who is planning to speak, so we'll skip the notice of meeting guidelines. Move on to item 2.1, approve minutes of Glades County School Board regular meeting March 24th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Yes, I read them, they look right to me.
A motion by Mr. Lucky. Second by Ms. Pierce. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And it's unanimous. Item 3.1, update on new elementary school and renovations.
All right, good morning, everyone. The renovation is going along very well. I was just showing a couple of board rooms, and I can show that to you too. I took a video yesterday. They were actually pulling down the west wall of the school with brick. They've actually cleaned out all the inside right now. They're finishing hauling away some of the garbage, and there's some of the metal that's going to be taken away as well. But they're moving very quickly on this. They started on the west wall because they want to kind of practice. They're taking their bucket and they're pulling the wall down and trying to make sure that they don't touch the canopy. And they're practicing because we are keeping the canopy that's between the old elementary school and the Ritchie building. We're actually going to keep that, and we're going to do an extension of that all the way to the back door of the district office. That way, there's a walkway for the employees to walk back and forth in case it's raining or something like that. So, and it's going very well. So, any questions?
Okay, looking at the pictures.
At one point, we had a discussion about some of the canopies being used by slaves.
Yeah.
Is that not feasible?
I don't think that that's going to be feasible. I was talking to Ms. Drake about that too, because what happens is we would have to cut those canopies, and then we would have to haul them over, and then we would have to replace them. We would have to put extensions on the poles so that they're high enough for coverage. But I think it would be better to go with new than to put some of the old canopies.
Any other questions for Mr. President? Thank you very much.
And there's always a question about budget, and I will tell you that we are under budget. I received figures from the construction company yesterday as part of something that we're doing with the state. But so far, we've spent about $45 million between the new school and the bus garage. And we were we're looking at probably about a little over 4 million for the renovation projects that we're doing. So that comes to a little over 49 million, maybe closer to 50 million. If you remember, our award was for 52,700,000. So right now we are under budget.
Can you give us demolition of the cafeteria?
I'm sorry?
The cafeteria, lunchroom,
Yes, ma'am, what about
is it being
it?
demolished?
Yes, it is.
But have they started? I'm not
No.
over there, so that's next.
That'll be last. Yeah, they'll take down the school and then they're going to take the concrete out from underneath the school. They need to do that next because we're bringing a new transformer in and they need to have a way to connect all the lines and stuff like that. And then from there, they'll go to the cafeteria.
Madam
Yes.
Chairman,
That's straight.
could we have a copy of that financial report for special facilities, please?
This is, I can give you what they sent me. It's not a total financial report, just the total.
Is this what our, the kind of audit that the contractor did for us, or is this something else? He said we were gonna do it internally,
It isn't, it
but
is
they
an
were
audit
gonna do it
that
also.
he's done, yeah.
I'm sure everybody would like it.
Yeah, I can do that, you can pass around them so you can see the numbers, but I will do that.
Ms. Drake,
Yes,
could you pull your microphone closer to your mouth there, if all the board members could, and then when you speak, could you speak up a little bit, please? Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
I think
Did you
we're
get
good.
even
Thank you
with
so
me?
very much.
Sure thing.
All right, we'll move on to item 4.1. Approve the February 2026 finance reports and warrant register. Entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Ms. Spears,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Straight. Discussion.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
First of all, I did ask for a copy of balance, checking account statements, I don't see that. I want to ask the superintendent. I don't expect it to be, public, but a packet would be great, just showing us that all the checking accounts are balanced and up to date. And when I say balance, I mean balance to Skyward. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanna make sure that what the bank says is what Skyward says, okay? I also did not see our assigned and unassigned projected fund balances on the statement. And we've asked for that in the past, so I'd like to have that also. There was a item for a settlement, and we were told it was coming out of our insurance, but I saw it as a check. So I want you to check on that for me.
Mr. Arregla's on his way in route, so I will check on that.
Okay.
The check was the settlement check came out of general fund?
Well, it was in our check warrant register, and we were told it was coming, that the insurance company was gonna cover that. That's all I have.
And I don't know if that's something, Ms. Drake, that, it was a reimbursable, I don't know, but I'll find out.
A lot of times we have to pay and then we get paid back.
Any other questions on the budget and finance report? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And the vote is unanimous. Moving on to item 5.1, the State of Florida Auditor General's Report, number 2026-160, financial and federal single audit for the fiscal year June 30th, 2025. And this is an information item for presentations and discussion. we wanna wait until Mr. Radeball is here, or we wanna go ahead and discuss?
I would like to go into extensive discussion at the budget hearing.
Does anybody have any comments or discussion that need to be made at this time?
I do wanna make sure that we are able to clarify this publicly. I know that the budget hearing is open, but since Week News's reports and some of the reports that have been out on social media, there's been a lot of questions asked. And I just wanna make sure that we're as transparent as possible so that people do feel like we're safe, we're not having to cut our teachers, our kids are still having a safe learning environment. And the questions that are coming up in question about this report are very transparent and easy our parents to still feel good about their child's education.
Main thing is I think they need to know that we have a plan. We've already
So just so that you all know, I had a meeting this morning with all my principals. Tracy from Panietta, Tina from Westglades, Ms. Pollard from Morgan Elementary, and Mr. Thomas. I told them that, that we wanna make sure that we share the same message. We had heard somebody say, well, it's because, the buses, they spend all this money on the school. They have no clue that has nothing to do with this. There's funds that are specifically for that. And, they're gonna get paid because that is a different set. This is like what you have in your fund balance, which is your, like a savings account. I am going to be sending each school a PowerPoint, and then if the principals want me to come out, can you hear me, Nicole?
Dr. Barfield, you need to make that, yeah.
Well, I don't think this goes to the camera. Can you hear me?
No, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't hear anything.
Okay,
But I'm here.
okay.
Maybe you can, maybe if you call me on my phone and I can talk on speaker, I can hear you all and then just see you all, if that makes sense. Does that
Can
make
you hear
sense?
us better now? Cause it seems like we hear you a lot better.
Yeah, you hear me, but I can't hear you all. I mean, it's just the issue of you all just talking around, so it's not, you're not projecting, and that's fair.
Okay, I'll call you right now. You wanna do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Dr. Barfield, for those listening in, can we say who this is on the?
For
Yeah, we
the,
can hear you.
now, for the record, we're joined by teleconference with Nicole Murray, who I believe will be accepting, I think we're gonna be hiring her in a few minutes to be our. Say what? So, we're gonna be hiring her as our, finance director, chief financial officer, or whatever fancy term you wanna call her. She has tons of experience and we're blessed to have her joining us. So for those who are listening in on our meeting, that's Nicole Murray, formerly Nicole Reese of Moorhaven. Miss Gloria Reese's daughter. It is, it's wonderful.
She has reason to be proud of you.
She does. So what I was saying was that I met Nicole this morning with all the principals, just to kind of tell them that we need to continue the message that we're good and that this is, we're gonna have one message. The message I put out was a message that I sent to DOE and that they said that was a great message and this is what we're gonna have the same consistent message. And it is that Glades County School is an A-rated school district. That rating reflects the hard work of our students, the dedication of our teachers and staff, and strong leadership and accountability at every level. Our academic success speaks for itself. This is the part that I just wanted our principals to hear, and I'll let you hear this. Like many districts across Florida, we are experiencing declining enrollment. There's a lot of increased participation in voucher programs, homeschooling, micro schools, private and charter schools. These are all options that our parents have. Because school funding is directly tied to student enrollment, this shift has a direct impact on our budget. Glades County has some unique challenges, as you all know. We're one of the smallest and most rural districts in the state. We have very limited access to additional local revenue sources. We do not currently have impact fees. We have a very small business base and very few local funding streams that help support services for our students. Larger districts often have these additional revenue sources to help offset financial pressures. Glades County does not. We are truly grateful for the state's partnership and support during this time. The appointment of the emergency board provides valuable guidance, oversight, and additional expertise as we navigate these statewide funding challenges. We fully embrace this collaboration and are committed to working closely with the state to strengthen our financial position and ensure long-term stability for our district. Glades County is not defined by financial headlines. We are defined by the success of our students, the strength of our schools, and the resilience of our community. And on all of those measures, we remain strong.
Very well said.
And in our budget meeting, we will be discussing, the budget and moving forward. But, I think that, it's something that we have to put a lot of thought into. I know that everyone's job is just as important to them as my job is to me. Therefore, when I think about having to cut and make cuts, it is something that is not fun, but it is something that, we are a business as well. And we have to continue to run as a business. I'm thankful that the board is considering the possibility of hiring Ms. Murray. And I only have 2 words to say about that, but God.
So I have a couple of observations or comments I wanted to make. First of all, I welcome the state's input and support of us. We obviously have struggled over the last few years, and if they have any insight or guidance for us that's gonna help put us on the right track, come on, I welcome it. Anytime we can get support in any way, it's good. And the other thing, not that we're considering this, but I've been, we keep up with the news in the other districts, and I hear of a lot of districts closing schools. We're gonna have to close a school or close a school. We don't have a school we can close. We have 3 schools, and there's just no feasibility of closing one of those schools. So we have to look for other ways to save money, and I think having Ms. Murray on board and the support of the state, we're gonna be moving in a very positive direction. Any other comments or questions from the board? Okay, well, this was an information item, so there's no vote needed, we'll move right on. The next item on the agenda is public comment on agenda items. And seeing none, we will move to the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion, or are there any of those that need to be pulled? Yes, ma'am.
7.2, please.
Okay, so since there's only 2, and we're pulling one of them, we might as well take each one of them individually. So we'll go to 7.1, approval of changes in human resources, hires, resignations, transfers, and/or supplements. Are there, do I hear a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Drake, second by Ms. Clement. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And that was unanimous. 7.2, approval of calendars for 2026, 2027. That's the, 188-day calendar, the 191-day calendar, the 206-day calendar, and the 216-day calendar. I will entertain a motion to approve that. Motion by Ms. Clement. Second by Ms. Pierce. Discussion or questions?
Yes, ma'am, so this may be on my part of not understanding 100%, but I also did not get with the superintendent before this meeting to ask these questions. But on all 4 maps, there's kind of some inconsistencies except for the 206-day calendar and the 216-day calendar. Those are the same, but the 188 and the 191 have inconsistencies throughout. So, the July, for the 188 and 191, doesn't have any information on the calendar for July. For August, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the 188 is not in the same color as the others, and none of it is selected for the first week of August either. There's,
I think I can explain that.
Yeah. I just wanna make sure that everybody can hear the explanation as well.
Sure. So what happened is, if there's not a yellow day, that means it is a non-work day. In the instructional calendar, it's a 196-day calendar, and so that means that there are 178 days with students, there are 12 work days, and there are 6 paid holidays. That's the way that it works out. When you look at a 191-day calendar, that's mostly for our non-instructional people, and that means that there are 5 less days that they work, and so instead of being yellow days, they're white, because they're non-work days. Same with 188 days, that's our bus drivers. Bus drivers work 8 less days, and so when you actually see more than that, I'll explain that too. So bus drivers work a 4-hour day, it's a half day, so they only work when students are in session, so that's actually 178 days, and then they get their paid holidays, plus there are 2 days in August that are work days, training days, that are actually whole days, so they're actually 2 half days, so that counts as 4 days, and that's where you come up with your numbers. So when what we try to do is, we try to, instead of just on the right-hand side saying when your days are off, because there's confusion, some of these non-instructional people didn't know which work days they were supposed to come, we made sure and just colored in the days they're gonna be working, and the days they're not gonna be working are in white.
Okay, so the days that show as teacher work days and on the 188 and 191 day calendars, those are no students, no teachers, for them only.
They don't show.
We're just making sure that's, I just wanted to ask the questions and make sure.
No problem, I'm glad you did. Oh, and while I'm here, I just want to clarify too, I know you're talking about budget, and I know I threw out the number $52.7 million for special facilities. I'm not sure the public understands, I know we've talked about this before, but that $52.7 million can only be used for certain things that we actually apply for. And those things include the building of the new school, the building of the transportation department, the raising of the old school, and the renovation of the 2 buildings at the elementary school to be turned into district offices. And if we're under budget, that's fantastic, but in all reality, whatever money's left over goes back to the state. It is not to be used for salaries or buying supplies or anything like that. It is earmarked specifically for special facilities. We would like to be able to use it for salaries, in fact, but we're not able to do that. And I'll caveat that. We can use it for some salaries, like a portion, like 50% of my salary, since I'm over that project. We were actually able to take half of my salary out of that project in order to pay for me. So there is some salary, I guess you can say, that does come out of it, but it doesn't go to general teacher. It's only because I'm the one who am over the project. So and I spend at least 50% of my time on the building and the renovations. So just, and also with the buses, people gotta remember that we got a $5.2 million grant that could only be used for electric buses and chargers. It could not be used for anything else, and that's what we use it for. And if you remember, back when we actually did that, we only had 2 buses, I believe, that had air conditioning. And everybody wanted to ride on the air-conditioned bus, and everyone wanted to take their field trips on the air-conditioned bus. But we gotta remember, we had 13 routes that were going at that time, and so, it just didn't work out. And so by receiving this grant, it was actually free money that came to the district to be used to purchase 13 air-conditioned buses, brand new buses that we replaced. When we replaced buses, all of those buses were at least 15 years old or older. So, when there is this discussion about budget out there, and people may be saying, well, what do they do with this money for the new school? They just blew it, or why do we even buy these electric buses? People need to remember that these were grants. These were specific grants that we received. We were fortunate to receive those grants in order to improve our district. And the money that we received can only be used for specific things. Just want to clarify.
I have one question. We keep saying we're under budget, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
If we finish all of the work that we proposed and we're still under budget, does that leftover money that goes back reduce our payback amount?
I received different answers to that. One answer is no, and another answer is yes, and actually I've heard maybe. So we're still in the process of how that's going to work. We're hoping that will help pay our bill. If just sort of as a reminder, when we received special facilities funding, we had to kind of put our skin in the game. We had to put 1.5 mils for 3 years, and say that we're gonna pay back the state, which is a total of about $5.7 million. But, and if we're able to use that $2 or $3 million that we have actually saved and are under budget to pay it back, that would be fantastic.
And we don't have to start that until the completion of our project, correct?
That'll start next year.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Russell? Okay, so any other questions or discussion about the calendar?
I have one. So these, we already approved the teacher calendar at the last meeting, I believe. So these are all the other employees in the district, is that correct? Bus drivers, non-instructional, district staff, I don't know who I'm talking to, but,
Yes, that's correct.
okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. And there are no opposed, unanimous. Okay, item number 8.1, collection. Is that collection or selection? I think it's supposed to be.
Whatever you want it to be.
I think it's supposed to be selection. New FSBA Advocacy Committee representative and alternate for term July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. So this is an action item. We need to nominate someone and have them accept that nomination and then vote on it.
Let's see if we have volunteers.
Well, I'd like to nominate, Mr. Lucky as the representative and Ms. Clement as the alternate unless Ms. Pierce is interested. Because I believe that's who we currently have. Is that correct, Mr. Lucky? Aren't you currently yet?
I think so. I'm getting information is popping up on my Google Calendar.
I thought Crystal was still in that position, I didn't realize it.
No, I gave it up
No,
last year.
Crystal is not in that position.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure we elected Mr. Lucky and Ms. Clement last time. No?
Ms. Carla says you were the alternate last time, Ms.
Yeah, well, I declined being that alternate.
All right.
I'd like for someone else to do it.
Do you two accept?
Would you,
I accept, and do I need to nominate Ms. Clement as alternate?
I already did.
Okay, then I would
I
like,
thought you nominated Ms. Pierce.
No. I nominated him and you as alternate.
Ms. Pierce, are you interested in being an
No, ma'am.
alternate?
I asked her that and she said no. Where were you?
it's the new blood.
Alright.
It's a new blood.
If you don't want to be
Because
the
I have to
alternate,
take
we'll
my
get
husband
someone
away
else.
from work to travel.
Who?
We'll get Ms. Pro on. If you don't want to.
I cannot do it.
The alternate really would only have something to do if Mr. Lucky was unavailable. And there have been times where we've not been there and they let you know what happened in your absence. So it's not really a big obligation to be the alternate at all. Now, to be the representative, they will want you to come to some meetings, but.
Okay, so we have a nomination on the whatever, on the floor of Mr. Lucky as our advocate and Ms. Clement as the alternate. And she has not agreed, Mr. Lucky has agreed, Ms. Clement has not agreed.
If there's an emergency.
You'll be the alternate? Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna, okay, so we have a motion on the floor that we elect Mr. Lucky as our advocacy committee representative and Ms. Clement as our alternate. Any discussion, any further comments?
Discussion point. When it popped up on my Google Calendar, which I barely looked at, because I used something else, but it used the word monthly meeting. And I did not know, I mean, that doesn't mean I'm not gonna accept, but I didn't know these were monthly meetings, or was that, do you think that was a mistake?
They're usually very, maybe even weekly during session, but you're really there as the legislative representative to listen into the platform ideas that are put forth, to submit some on behalf of our board. So really during the session, prior to the session and during the session is when you meet mostly. The other months, you may not have any meetings.
Okay.
And they're all, online meetings, you don't have to go
Right.
over.
Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, any other discussion or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? And it was unanimous. And the next item on the agenda is general public comments. Do we have any?
We do. Nicole is gonna go ahead and just address you all, and then she's gonna come back for our budget meeting at 1, but she would like to make some comments.
Hey everybody, so thank you so much for confirming, I appreciate it, Mom, I have a job, so you can leave now, you know I think.
That's not how I do it.
But hit your mic.
Ultimately, so you all know, everyone goes there, right? But it's nothing that I have not been through, straight, that the resume that I submitted, I have corrected with the help of my team, 6 audit findings, right, with the corrective action plan to the governors. I have balanced the athletic budget as the chief budget officer for the last 6 years. So although small, we have a job to do, but the job starts with you all, right? Because we have to be the change that we want to see. And in the change that we want to see, we have to make the decisions that could affect the entire school district. But if we work together in tandem, it will be the change that we need to see for all of the people that are graduating and coming into our schools. What I do know is that we have to create a different marketing strategy. For the difference between the charter school and the public schools is that we have to enrollment, right? So we have to create those same students that are leaving and going to the charter, we have to go ahead and try to create marketing strategies.
Hey, Nicole, unmute yourself, I'm sorry, unmute your, Now talk.
Okay,
There you go.
can you hear me now?
Much
Now I
more.
gotta start all over again, I had some good stuff to say. So you can hear me, what I was basically saying was, we have to be the change that we want to see for the students that are coming into Blaze County, just true. But it starts with us, the people it starts with you all, right? You are the school district, you approve all the things that we're doing as an administration. We also have to figure out how to get those students that are leaving back. That starts with the great marketing strategy. What are we doing that charter schools are unable to do, right? They aren't able to do. All of the decision making, all of the governance, it starts with you all, and then it feeds into Superintendent Barfield, and then it dribbles down to the finance space. But money talks, right? I'm not going to shade you. I told Beth that she shouldn't sweat it, Dr. Barfield, that she shouldn't sweat it because, and I'm not making light of the situation because we want the state to help us, but it's not that bad. I don't want you all to think that it's that bad. We just have to do a lot more with a lot less. And the decision making that we are going to have is going to be in tandem. What does that mean? That means that we won't be able to make secret door deals behind the scenes and then come to the board and say, these are the decisions that we need to make. Because what's going to happen is, we're all going to have to be in sync. How about that? We're going to do real budgets, that make sense. Cuts that make sense, not just the first thing you see is the first thing you cut, because that's oftentimes that doesn't make sense. We have to do operational adjustments, we have to do operational changes, and we have to do shared governance across the board. What's Westlake doing that Moorhaven Elementary can buy into? What does operational efficiency look like? What does outsourcing look like for this institution or this enterprise? Is there real cost savings? Is insurance expensive? Those are the things that we really have to do, right? We just can't just choose to pay bills because we need to pay bills. And, oh yeah, that's it. I've been told I only have a couple more seconds because I am on these people's clock. So, I'm excited. I'll see you all soon. Beth and her team, Dr. Barfield and her team are already seeing emails from me, reports from me, asking for information so that when we actually get and we sit down, real workshops make sense. So you'll know what numbers you're approving before you approve them and what those numbers mean and what is the definition behind them. Oftentimes, it seems though, you all don't know that information and I'm transparent. So you'll get it and you'll get it from me. So thank you, I appreciate it. And I look forward to working with each of you, right? Look at my math teacher and my English teacher sitting side by side. Amazing.
Thank you.
We love you and we're glad to have you on board.
You just made it right.
No, I can't hear. I'm sorry.
Can you hear this?
I can't hear anything you all are saying.
That's fine. I watched, hold on, tell her.
She only has seconds left there.
Seconds.
I know that I'm representing everybody up here who has been a teacher, but I've said this before and it bears saying again, when you're an educator, there's no greater feeling than to see and feel the success of someone that was in your classroom.
Amen.
And you know what, and it ended right when she, hey Nicole, you can.
Yeah.
Okay, well, our free meeting ended, as our new CFO, I'm sure you would appreciate us not billing that little time slot, so. Nope, he said he was done. So Nicole, I'll talk to you later on this afternoon, and we'll see you at 1 o'clock. Okay, I'll see you at 1 o'clock. Have a good day.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
So
Some of us.
excited to have her on board.
I wanna-
When did you live?
She is currently at Thomas.
She can finance director.
She's coming home.
Okay, moving on, 10.1, item 10.1 is our superintendent's report. Dr. Barfield.
I just wanna say that, as you all were aware, we had a member of the state board come and spent the day with us. And, I wanna just reiterate what one of the participants said, to him. And I think it's kind of become our battle cry for our district, but, Michelle Thomas, when we were meeting with him, said to the board member, thank you for coming down and for breathing our air. And that was so powerful to me, and at the time when she said it, I just got chills. And then I didn't think anything of it until someone, wrote about it on social media, and it just really struck me, because a lot of times people make, decisions up in Tallahassee and Washington, and they never understand what we're actually going through. And that was something that I spoke to my principals about this morning, that, it's a great thing to have a board member come down, a state board member come down, and to actually see what they're making decisions about. I do wanna reiterate that his visit had nothing to do with our financial state. In fact, he didn't even know about it until the day before he came down. It was just a coincidence that he came. But he said he was so glad that he was able to come and to see two of our schools. He said our schools were some of the cleanest he had ever been in, number one. He walked the halls of Moorhaven High School and Moorhaven Elementary School, and I have invited him back to come back and also tour Westglades and Payetta, because I feel it's important that he sees, there's some things at both schools that I want him to see. One thing for our Westglades school, that the distance from Westglades to Moorhaven High School. And so I want him to see that. I also want him to see the learning environment that they have and how strong it is out there, and to really impress, to stress to him and to show him how that is an excellent school district, or a school, and that, and some of the struggles that they have due to their location. But I'd also like to take him out to pets to show him, the different, learning environment they have, and that they're a charter school that is being ran the correct way. And so that we're very, very happy to be in partnership with them. Other than that, I'll answer your questions, but other than that, I don't have anything else to report.
Ms. Drake, would you like to start?
Sure. I wanted to give an update on the impact fee, if that's okay with you, Madam Chairman. I know you were at the meeting as well. Are you gonna talk about it?
No, I'll let you do that.
Okay. We did have a meeting yesterday with Jennifer Cotto Salisbury, who is doing the impact fee study for the county. She needs just a little bit more data from us. And she was very complimentary of Mr. Thomas for all the help that he's given her. And she will be presenting at the April 14th meeting of the county commission. After their regular meeting, she will be giving them a presentation. Their meeting is at 9 a.m. so I'll probably go for the whole meeting and see what they're up to. But she did do a little bit of explaining that helped me, because I wasn't on the board when we had impact fees before. But she said that there are 4 buckets of money when they do an impact fee study. They can use the money for parks is 1 bucket, roads is 1 bucket, emergency medical services is 1, and then education facilities is the 4th bucket. And so what they will do is give the county commission an estimate on what each of those buckets need in our county to keep up with growth. And the example she used for us, in 2008, was the last time we had impact fees in Glades County, and at that time, $4,400 of their, I believe it was $10,000 approximate impact fee total, $4,400 went to the school district. I'm anticipating that it's gonna be higher if they do. Now, the thing is, they can tell the county commission, we recommend, and I'm just gonna guess, they're gonna say 12,000 or 15, since it was 10 in the past, so they're gonna give them a recommendation, then the county commission does not have to take that recommendation. They can impose impact fees at a lower rate if they want to. They can't exceed the recommendation of the study, but they can lower it. That's one reason that we need to be at the table when they're making those decisions at their workshops. Because obviously for us, especially now, we need them to be as high as the study says for educational facilities. It does limit us though, it can't be general fund money, it can only be for facilities. But still, anything that we can get is, we can do more with the more money that we get. So anyway, I thought it was interesting to learn about it. And we did a little bit of math, thinking about, Mr. Provence said there's gonna be 800 homes projected in Lakeport in that. That's a total of $4 million.
And the 1,500 across the street from me.
Well, yeah, those would be added. They've already built 50 there, but as they expand that community, if we got $5,000 for every new house that's built, that would be great. So anyway, this is gonna be an awesome thing. And I hope that our board, anytime you're in the community, you can talk it up and get people to go along with doing it, because it would be a big help to us. If they pass it at the peak where they can, and that we get the maximum amount that we can.
Instead a portion of it does go on roads,
Yeah, but,
because we're gonna need it on 78, that new road is already in a mess.
yeah, so that's another reason to support the full impact, is the road infrastructure that we
You know,
need.
the trucks,
Yeah.
the semis that go up and down, they're crazy.
Yeah, and then emergency medical services, who doesn't want that? It'll be good for the whole county, to do it, in my opinion. There is sometimes pushback in communities from your contractors, but I don't think we have that. I think even our local contractors are aware of the needs that we have, so I haven't heard of any, if there is any. So,
That's the first I've heard that it could be used for emergency medical services, so we could reopen the Buckhead Bridge. That's needed.
Yeah.
Really bad.
No.
I mean, all those accidents that happen on 78, it takes them 20 minutes to get to them, it's terrible.
Okay, what'd you say?
I don't see that happening with $12,000 if that's what they give the school. Oh, that would, for each one of those.
Each house, the school would get a portion, and another portion would go to parks, another portion would go to roads, another portion would go to EMS.
But it's not a percentage, it's a lump sum.
Right.
If they determine that the school should get $2,000 and the roads get 1,000 and the medical gets 5,000, you add all that up and that's the impact fee that the contractor would pay. But we are gonna get that 2,000, it's not gonna be reduced to give some to the other entities.
I see, okay.
And it may not be divided equally among the
Right,
five.
it does not have to be divided equally.
Right,
But
it's gonna
it'll be listed. It'll,
be
when they
spelled out.
approve it, it'll all be exactly.
Some things are
But I want to
needed.
remind everybody that the county commissioners are who decides who gets what and at what amount. They can decide, so, you need to be really, when the discussion is held, I think we need to be very much, our own advocate and make sure that people, in the community also are as well to our county commissioners. Because this study could say, give the school, $10,000, give them 100%, but the county commission could say, no, we're only gonna give them 20%.
But I think if they did that, if they recommended a certain amount and the county used their privilege to do a lesser amount, it should be prorated among those 4 categories. Like, they don't get to decide how much goes to parks and how much goes to schools. The study determines that.
Okay.
So all they can do is reduce the total amount, which would then reduce each of the 4 categories by
They,
their portion of that amount. It would become a mathematical.
But we just need to make sure that we're advocating for that because that greatly affects our district.
No matter who gets it, all 4 of those things would make our county better. Impact fees would be beneficial.
And just to be, correct for the public, it is not a percent. It's, we like to use that, we get 100% or whatever, but it's never a percent, it's a lump sum
Correct, for each new house
for
that's
each
built.
new house.
That's all I have.
Thank you for being on that call, you and Ms. Crum.
Ms. Clement?
Yes, ma'am. And the past 4 years that I've been on the board, we've talked about doing a new board member onboarding packet. And, I myself have just kind of gone off of what other counties have provided for their board members. Mr. Lucky, I know that you haven't received anything either, but I do want to make sure that we're able to put something together moving forward as new board members do come onto the board so that we have something in black and white stating your expectations, or when something happens, where you can look forward to, instead of having to rely on other counties, that we have something that is ours, that we own, and we can go straight to that document and have ownership of it. We've talked about it for several meetings throughout the years and said that yes, we need to do it, but we've just not come to fruition of making it happen. I would like to see what we can do to get that process started soon.
So that's the board's manual, that's not something that I would put together. I mean, I obviously can gather information for you all, but that's something that you would put together as the board.
Would you like to be the chairman of that committee to put it together?
but I think what Kim's saying is, when you're at the beginning, I've heard Dr. Barfield use this term before, you don't know what you don't know.
100%.
And I have a procedure that I am using to learn more. I keep going back and reading notes from the Florida School Board Association meeting that I went to a year and a half ago, when they said, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, you know. And so, and then every time I hear y'all say something I don't know about, I'm writing it down. But even with that, that's because we're conscientious people. But actually, the 2 of us would not be the ones to put that together. We would be the ones to offer input about, oh, I don't know how to do this or how to do that. I do remember, and this made me feel good, after like 6 months of being up here on the board, I expressed some concern, and Patty looked at me and said, you're right where you should be. That was a relief. It was, because then I realized that my peers recognize that I'm trying to stay above water. I'm trying to learn as much as I can, and I appreciate, I've never forgotten that. She said, you're right where you should be. So I think she was honoring my pace. But the only thing that I think we could do that would serve as a catalyst would be to contact the state board people and them give us an outline of what we should be looking for. And then, like, for helping for that, yeah, I'd be happy to help, but you gotta remember, this would be like a new teacher asking to be on the new teacher orientation committee. You know, they can only serve advisory, but, you know, I can write down what and here's the deal. We know full well that sometimes you've taught us or told us something, but we're educators. Most of us up here have actually taught. And hearing or being told something one time does not mean that learning occurred. And you would think that with all my practice at learning, I would get better, but that's not necessarily true. We're still just as challenged as any other learner to learn to remember something and stuff. Sometimes I'm embarrassed to ask a question, and sometimes it depends on my mood. Sometimes I'm not gonna be embarrassed, I'm just gonna ask it.
Ms. Pierce wanted to say something.
That's the whole reason, or a good reason for a school board association. The first, whenever you newly elected, there's certain classes, and they basically give you all that information that you have in those first couple of classes. You know, there's 3 days and actually 4. when
Yeah,
you
that
go
was
on.
very beneficial, the first one I went to.
And then there's like a template in that, you know, I mean, that you can follow. And if there's any questions, you can go back to their website and you can find out, or even speak to them. But, I mean, I had to go to Tallahassee and it was 19 degrees when I was a new school board member, and they helped. I mean, oh my God, yes, they helped. But, I mean, that's one of the reasons, and they're not gonna lead you wrong. It's not gonna be just because somebody said so. They're gonna tell you exactly. And I relied on them for many things, and I know Crystal did too,
Okay,
in the
so,
beginning.
I'm gonna say this and then Ms. Clement has, a comment. I'm gonna ask you, you said, you called it an onboarding packet. Have you seen that from other districts that
We've
they have?
shared it several times with the board from,
Carol Cook.
Carol Cook from Pinellas.
Yeah, I just shared it with all the board and Dr. Barfield and Carla again. We have been talking about this since we did the certified board training. There's a copy of it down there in one of those drawers. I just sent you guys another electronic copy. All we have to do is put Glades County's name in there in the plan.
So it's already created,
Yes.
it's not something
Yes.
that we need to create, we just need to call it
Correct,
out.
and we need to use it, and we need to make sure that we're following our established protocols. I think it covers things like how to get something on the agenda, things like that.
So I would like to just, Dr. Malay,
Would
he
you like me
is,
to forward it to him as well? I started
yes,
to
please
do
send
that.
that to him because he has said that he would also help take the lead and get it.
I have trouble getting his
Yeah.
name to pop up in my email there.
I could very briefly interject. Mrs. Drake, when you said all we have to do is just download it, I'm still assuming that it is a standard, but we fill in
Correct.
information.
Yeah, we can make it ours. We can
Right,
change it.
so it's not-
Yeah,
Well, that's half the job, really. But yes, we got work to do once we get the template.
So what we could do is we could workshop it if you would like, we could add it to a workshop. You all have the document, so if you go through there and you see something that you want changed, please email Dr. Malay, and then we can either workshop it or bring it back to the, whatever, you know, I'll help the process, but what I'm saying is, it's not my process, like I can do it, then it looks like I'm recommending this is your process, so I'm trying to not,
And that's fine, I just wanna make sure we've been working on this for 3.5 years and it hasn't moved from just the idea from our certified board training. Nicole said something that was so powerful earlier, we're gonna have to do a lot more with a lot less. Doing so, you have to be super focused on what you're doing and having that Bible with you, like, okay, I have to question myself and looking through what other counties are doing or what works for them. We are not a cookie cutter district. What works for us is not what's working for everybody else. We have to have our own Bible to go through. I've been fortunate enough to be able to call people throughout the entire state of Florida, even other county, states, saying, this is what we're going through, what would you do in your district? And some people were like, oh, this is no problem. I'm like, wow, we thought we were messed up, you know? There's just so many different outlooks on how this book could go, but if we have that, we have could be 3 board members, could be 1, we don't know how many board members we have coming in, but I just know that it's gonna be beneficial, and if I don't ask now, it's just gonna be another board member meeting after another meeting before we get this document completed. I wanna make sure that we have this done before a new board member does come on, or 3 board members come on, whatever the case may be, we owe that to them.
So that
We owe it to
everybody's on the
ourselves.
same page.
100%. And sometimes FSBA gives us advice on how to do things. And it's not exactly what works here, and some of the ways I feel like I've been guided wrong. And I've been, with the networking that we do through FSBA, with those connections we make, the networking has been the most phenomenal part of being a member through FSBA. Those are the people I've met to be able to be my guidance and making sure that I am being a good board member, asking the questions, and some of these questions are embarrassing and hard to ask, but if we don't ask them, Dr. Garfield says, you don't know what you don't know. So with us asking them and seeing it in black and white is gonna move us forward.
I hope that's not the quote that is mine.
No, let's do short-term awkward, long-term success.
It's something that the board has to do, it has to be our document.
Well, let's
We can't
get it.
ask them to do it for us. Maybe Dr. Malay can guide us, but it's got to be us. If this is something you want and the rest of the board wants, then we have to say, okay, when are we gonna get together and work on this in a workshop and make it ours? We can't expect somebody else to do it for us.
It can be added to one of our workshops coming up. Just has to be advertised.
Is that what you want? You want to get a workshop scheduled to do that? Dr. Barfield, will you
I will make sure that.
make sure that Dr. Malay is available on the day that we have a workshop on this?
And my goal is to help, or I've been through this a lot, and my goal is to help organize it and keep the ball rolling. It will be your document, but we can look at templates and where you wanna start, but that person that keeps it going, that makes sure we have the next meeting and information gets out. And FSBA is a wonderful resource. They can come do things, but we can also do things free. So, happy to help.
Thank you.
Also, I seen that our, band concert, is that tonight?
It is at 7:00 tonight.
Okay, so I know that social media is not the place to see things, but when you see a post on Facebook and it just makes your heart so happy, it gives you chill bumps. Our track team posted that they had several band members in their track team, so to support their team, they are not going to their track meet tonight, the entire team is going to the band concert to support their team members. I don't know why that makes me emotional, but it makes me just so happy that
It should be, I
a
agree.
coach and their team members want to support their band members and be there for them, like,
You don't
That
get
is
that in
so-
other districts.
No.
It's,
So you saw my.
It's a big deal.
Pit against
You
each
see what I
other, as a matter
wrote?
of fact.
I shared that and then wrote that this is what I wish the news would cover about Glades County, because that does not happen very often in any other district. Huge kudos to Nate Kelly and Fred Hall for their leadership, and that's what makes Moorhaven High School and Glades County such a unique and wonderful place, that they would take the insight and they would, the importance of making those band members feel just as, cherished and honored as a member of our school, community. That's the culture of Glades County. That's what needs to be put out there. Unfortunately, that's what the news doesn't like to hit. They don't wanna hear the great things.
it was so
Wow.
powerful that it just literally made me emotional, and not many things do that, but for some reason, that hit me just right.
So, as I will not be there this evening, I'm leaving today about 3:30, 4 o'clock to go to my superintendent meeting. But if somebody attends the concert, would you please try to get some pictures, because I am gonna forward that on to the news, as many news outlets as I can right now, because like I said, I agree with you, it was huge kudos to those two gentlemen, and thank God that they grew up in Glades County, they went through our school system, and I don't know about both of them, but I know one of them was a success story to end up in a bad place, and he made it a mission to do better for himself and his family, because he had a great, I say great family, I mean a family as a whole community, and he made himself better, and he's now a leader, and I'm just so thankful. I know one of the brothers, I don't know about the other brother, but both of them, I'm just so proud of them, and I'm proud of Mr. Browning, because his response was just as yours was, you know, it's just amazing what happens when your culture shows of your district when you're not even trying to make it show. And that was a powerful thing for me.
Now, just to clarify, Mr. Browning had said, I will excuse these students from playing in the concert so that they can go to the track meet. Was the initial, and then the track coach said, no, they can go to the concert and we'll
That's
support you.
So also, Mr. Browning, I have to give him the shout out for the day. He has been so resourceful. He's there in the cafeteria every single morning with the high schoolers. You know, he sees the ins and outs. He sees the students that are struggling. He sees the cafeteria workers. A lot of times, we don't notice our cafeteria ladies in the background doing all the work, making, Miss Reese, you know how much work it takes in the back of those cafeterias, feeding those babies twice a day, making sure that they're having a great day. And we just recently had one of our cafeteria workers have to leave, and she was the one seeing those kids every single day, and they wanted to make something special. So Mr. Browning had his band choir get together, work on a presentation to sing for her as she's leaving, to let her know that she is loved, she is appreciated. She gave the nutrition to these students twice a day and was there for them with a smile. You know, they have hard days in the back of that cafeteria. Sometimes the preparation is not as easy as it looks, but Mr. Browning made that day special for Miss June, the day before she left. I also want to shout out to Miss June. She is very loved and appreciated. We are sorry that she had to move, but we understand life circumstances. I just want to give those shout outs to these individuals that are our employees. They are here, they are bread and butter, and we are thankful for everything they're doing. I mean, we've seen it today. It's bus drivers, coaches, teachers, band members. It takes everybody to come together and work together. Nicole's presentation today made me realize, yes, it's gonna be short-term awkward to get through what we have to get through, but we're gonna get through it, and it's gonna make us successful. You have to have those awkward moments to be powerful, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna get through those moments. They're gonna be awkward, but I'm thankful that we have this team to work through it together and get there. Having the end goal of student success in mind. Okay, my last question is, we've been asking a lot about VPK, we've been asking a lot about collegiate throughout the years. Our focus on that is gonna be, my first thing with Nicole, we have to get to business, we have to get to reality on these. I did not realize that VPK, we're not getting paid for those students if they don't come to school, and I did not realize the absenteeism that we have on these students and why we're in that almost $60,000 hole because of not getting paid for those students not coming to school. So there's a lot of understandings. I learn something every day from asking different questions, and sometimes they feed me answers of things that I didn't ask because I didn't go to ask them. So I really wanna make sure that we put an emphasis on our VPK program because we really need to go ahead, see what we're doing to open that enrollment. I get asked every single day, when can I enroll, when can I enroll? We need to have a very clear, transparent understanding of what we're doing moving forward. That's all I have.
Ms. Pierce?
Okay, I'm gonna pick one on your VPK. When they're absent, how many times can they be absent? Is there a limit?
It's days, it's 3 days.
The VPK guidelines recommend dismissing them after 3 unexcused absences.
Do we do that in our waiting list? Do we bring a new one in to replace them? Why? That was my question.
Do we have a
I
way?
know we have a waiting list.
Do we have a way?
I don't think we have a waiting list.
Not now, it's too late in the year.
Moving forward, that's the way it should be.
And making sure that you learn something every day. You found that out, let's make sure that we're following protocol and making sure that we're not missing out on those funds because of, I mean, and I hate to say that because of negligence of the parents getting their students to school, but we have to be a business as well.
What I was told is they did not dismiss those kids because there wasn't a waiting list. And the reason there wasn't a waiting list is because we chose not to allow Henry County students to enroll for our VPK programs. If we would have done that, we would have had a waiting list.
I was under the impression that we had one.
And that's part of the budget discussion today.
Thank you.
I just wanna add to that, just to clarify, we only get paid for half a day
Mhm.
as well.
And we keep them the whole day because we can't afford the buses to go over 2 times for that student.
So, but we have kids that are staying all day and the parents are not paying. Is that correct? I mean, they're supposed to be paying, but they're not.
That's correct.
And there has been letters sent out that we are not standing on
Yes.
that. Which is a
Because
hard
here's the-
conversation to have.
Right,
It's
and like I
very
said,
hard
that's a
conversation.
budget, I have that in the budget meeting today, because, I mean, look, we can, as a board, you can say, okay, after 3 days, they miss, unexcused, they're out, okay, but then you're gonna have parents come, and it's gonna be on the board, you know. What is your directive to me? You tell me, Dr. Barfield, on the 4th day, they're out, let somebody else come in. If that's how the board, if that is your directive to me, I'll do it, but I need to know that you all are gonna support that decision, because you're gonna have parents.
Some things are not black and white,
Right.
and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And when people start asking the questions and we start making the policies, you've got to remember, for example, in this one, where we're saying, why did we say this or why would we do that? You may only have 18 kids and there's no waiting, there's nobody waiting to get on the list. And when that kid hits 4 absences and you dismiss the kid, then there's no funding, plus that little kid is gonna end up being in our kindergarten next year because he doesn't have to be a completer of pre-K to go on. And you're looking at everything like, okay, I wanna get in here as much as I can. So there's all kinds of things, and I was gonna wait my turn, but are we still on Patty?
Well, Ms. Horn has a whole presentation on this, guys.
I just wanna be perfectly clear, I'm the one that is 100% for these kids not to have to pay for VPK, but we're at the stance now where there's parents paying $50 a week, and their kids are going to school, and they're finding out now that some of the kids in their kids' class are there, or not there some days, and not paying. So I'm not controversy over the kids getting kicked out or not kicked out. It's the parents that are paying and doing what's right and following what the Early Learning Coalition, whatever that packet is that we signed as parents putting our children in this program. We knew that when we filled this packet out. We have to fill out an attendance paperwork every 30 days, I believe, as parents, and send that off. So there's things that we just have to question, like this has to start as a board. We have to get very transparent on what's going on here and what it's gonna look like for next year for the parents that are wanting to enroll and what it's gonna look like for them.
And once again, Mrs. Horn has a presentation she's gonna be giving at the budget hearing about that.
Okay, that's,
I have one, well, I'll wait till the, I'll forget by then, but whatever.
Rush yourself in there.
Ms. Pierce, did you have anything else?
I just wanted to say, after 24 years, there's been a lot of times that we've been up and down with the budget, and we've always been able to come out. So I don't want anybody to be too worried.
Nicole's refreshing reminder today was.
I mean, it's always, there is a way.
Mr. Lucky?
To piggyback the VPK issue, 2 things. One, I have a question. The 3 years that I was a VPK teacher, I had to fill out documentation for all the ways that my salary was paid. And I was paid from 4 different sources. And one of them was the general fund that pays teachers, that was a portion. And then part of it was the VPK, but there were 2 other things too, and the other 2 things were grants. So are there other ways that we would qualify? You don't have to answer this now, but the one question would be, are there other ways that we can qualify for more money that's not just the money that comes in for VPK? Because like I said, I know I was from 4 different funding sources because I filled that out every month. The second thing is, we know it takes, usually for grades 1st through 5th, it takes parents and a great teacher to make sure that there's attendance. But in VPK, when you're dealing with that age, it has a lot to do with, to overcome the absentee issue. It has a lot to do with the teacher, whether that's a para that we pay, that instructor. It has a lot to do with that instructor's relationship with the parent. And I was so much as told that, if you don't get kids here, you don't have a job. And, nobody wants to hear that, but that was a motivator to me. I made sure I had my kids, and I was constantly looking out there too, see a little kid at the little grocery store in Montura, and he looks like he's VPK age, I got somebody looking into it. So, I don't know the teachers, personally, but that is, a great way to get kids here is to increase communication between the parents and whoever that child's teacher is. And we haven't mentioned that, but that is a big deal. I'm done.
And I think we've covered everything that I was going to mention, so I just want to remind everybody who can about the concert tonight. Those students worked really hard to prepare for the spring concert, and if you don't have anything better to do, we'll see you in the auditorium at 7 o'clock.
I have one more thing, just a personal note. Yesterday, Jackie Smith had a major seizure, and is in the hospital. I spoke with her mom last night. She's not doing well, so just keep her in your prayers.
My goodness.
She's really struggling.
I've kept in touch with her.
I talked to Jackie, she listened, and I told her that she would be in big trouble if she left me, and she run a couple of things. I'm not gonna really, I don't wanna guess what she was saying, but I had a feeling there was a cuss word involved, so I will not repeat it. But her mom got on the phone, and if you've ever talked to Jackie's mom, she sounds just like Jackie, and her mom was really scared, and it really threw me a little bit. So she said that she would keep us updated, but they weren't sure what was going on. They were running some MRIs and CAT scans.
Did they ever diagnose the actual illness that she has?
Okay,
I will remember to pray for her since I'm doing that already.
anything else for the good of the,
I do wanna throw one more thing out there. This week we had para appreciation, and at each school they gave shout outs to all of our paras. I'm doing that now. Thank you, all of the paras, for everything that you do and keeping our teachers somewhat sane and being their backbone and helping with our students. You're greatly appreciated, and I'm very thankful for everything that they do.
anything else? Don't forget, we have a workshop at 1 o'clock. Meeting adjourned.
Mrs. Drake, just,